What's up, guys? We have a dual arch all-on-X remount. So the digital remount. On dual arches, you have implant locations, you have tooth models. Now, how do you remount it in the same design scene, but also not have to restart? Now, I'm going to show you a quick, efficient, and without cutting any quality, this is repeatable and predictable process, how to digitally remount your dual arch all-on-X's. So let's get into it. We have our database here, we have our dental project in our Open Explorer, and our new scans for the revision part, right? So we're gonna hit design and launch our old design that we have from 5.13. It was a little bit ago. And it kind of looks like we have surgery tissue here and our old designs. So let's go into expert mode. We have some viz meshes, and initially we have to load in our scans. So we're gonna go into tools and add and remove mesh. Now this will allow us to add and remove a new scan, and we need to add in our new generic viz scan, or a new bite scans, that all the new scans that were taken right at the new appointment. If there's any of these generic visits in there, I suggest just deleting them and hitting remove objects, and then we'll hit load. So we're gonna load up all our new scans. First, I'm gonna start with the upper and lower. This came from a trio, so I know that the trio scanner exports them in occlusion like this, and sometimes when I align it with the bite scan itself, it throws it off, or it looks different, the contact points. Then we can hit align meshes, and I'm going to align the maxilla to the maxilla. We have reference points on here. It looks like the bite was slightly off and open on the patient left side. So 3 points, one on each side and one in the front, right? And we're able to check the contact quality of the match. And the match quality looks really nice. I see the screw access holes where they should be. And there was some pink composite put on the buckle. And then we'll hit OK. Now we will add our tissue scans. So I'm going to go in and add these two tissue scans in as a generic viz. Yes, but now I'm going to keep them individual because I need them individual to rotate them in the right orientation. And then we'll align them individually as well. So separate from the bite scan comes in an occlusion. Tissue scans are obviously individual as they are per arch. So we'll hit align mesh now, and I'm going to align mesh now this lower tissue scan to our bite scan. So we have surrounding tissue that will give us a common reference point, and we should get a good stitching here. You can use exclude selected if you need to, but I do see a decent stitching, and if I were to look at the screw access holes, it looks like it's all in the right area, so that's good. Now I am going to bring the upper tissue, but we need to change which object that we are selecting to move. So we have right now selected as the lower. I'm going to change to the upper. All right, and then we'll hit align meshes, and we will perform and best fit match that. So we have nice matches here, but now, you know, the upper's aligned, but this lower, it obviously isn't aligned. Look at the difference right there, how they're biting on that left side. Maybe it should have been ground down a little bit. Hopefully this side was a little bit. But I need to create an object that will move this lower merged part and the lower implants and the scan abutments and everything, right? So in order to do that, you have to make sure the existing jaw scan is on the same scan object as this merge part. Now, if I save these out together as one STL, that is what I call a registration mesh. So we will call this lower reg mesh, or regi mesh. So we call it registration mesh, or regi mesh for short. And this is just to basically categorize it. and label it as a registration mesh to move that lower to this bite scan position. So we're gonna, now that we save them out together, I'm gonna go to Tools, Add and Remove Mesh, and as a generic visualization mesh, I'm gonna load the Regi. And when I load that Regi, I need to pull it off to the side because I need to align it. It was aligned to the merged part, right? That's in the designed position. We need to move this lower arch to the bite position, right? So this new bite position is what was scanned. So I'm going to now align mesh this Regi to this bite scan. So we will just click on 3 points that are common. 1, 2, 3. I like doing a little triangle tripod. Gets me a good stitching. And I have nice matches all around. Screw access holes are good. That's what I like to double check when doing this. And then we'll hit OK. So now we have this lower in the scan position. So you can now see the difference of the lower jaw scan, right? This is the old jaw scan position, and this is the new, right? The new is where we had aligned to the bite scan, and the old is right here. So now, in the tan. So now I need to remove and crop this merged part off of this jaw scan. So we'll hit 3D Data Editor, and I'm going to select by click and delete just that arch, and hit OK. So now that registration mesh, it's aligned to my bite, right? Because we used the prosthetic to move that jaw scan into the bite position. And now we have upper, lower, old position, new position, right? In the white, it's our visualization mesh, so that's the new position. And the old position is the tan old jaw scan. Now we're going to replace the tissues, right? But we need to get the bite in the correct position first. So I'm going to save this object out now, and we're going to save it out as a BA, or bite alignment. I call it a BA for short. And then save STL as. So we're going to now go to Tools, Add and Remove Mesh. And I'm going to add as a bite alignment scan. And I'm going to remove this old one, and I'm going to load in the new one. So we have a new BA. Now that has launched in, I'm going to hit OK, and then yes, this, and use position of loaded bite scan as reference. So this allows us to tell Exocad this is the new bite position, and you can see the old tan jaw scan is in the old position, and then the new bite alignment object is in relation to your vis mesh, which is in relation to your new bite scan and your new tissues, right? So once you launch the bite alignment, you'll see on the bottom taskbar jaw alignment. Let's click jaw alignment, and let's move that lower arch to that bite alignment scan. Now we haven't even unmerged our merged part yet. We are just remounting it first. Then we will go back in steps. So it's having trouble finding the coordinates of this and aligning it, maybe because of how bad the surgery scan was warped a little bit. I believe that's pretty decent. I'm going to cancel that, and let's redo that. Jaw alignment. It's important to have the orientation of this scan and this in the same view. When they're not in the same view, then it does tend to not like just 1 point. But I do like getting away with it with 1 point. 1, 1, and yeah, it doesn't like me today. So let's go with 2 by holding Control, and then 3 right on this bone screw here, and then we'll be good. Hold Control, you can get more dots. Hit OK. Sometimes I can get away with it 1. Most of the time I can get away with it 1. So now take a look at our merged parts. Our merged parts are now remounted because I did that jaw alignment. Now it's asking me to do the jaw alignment for the upper, but the upper's not going to move. I already did the lower, so I already know it's good. Just gonna do it just to do it. Okay. Lovely today. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. So now that the bite alignment is done, you'll see that on the bottom taskbar, right clicking on the background, you see adjust scan at orientation. That's also how you can force reset your scan orientation in the middle of your design or at the end of your design. I know sometimes the orientation gets thrown off. That's a forced reset of orientation. Also, you've remounted it, right? Look at the BA. Look at our open posterior bite. Our full anatomic teeth moved to that position. And our wax ups moved. And our implants moved. All our implant positions moved, everything. But to confirm you've done the remount correctly, it's important that you turn on your new upper lower bite scan. And if that's aligned perfectly, then you know you've completed the remount 100% correct, right? So now it's remounted, but we have to move all of that information back to the designed occlusion position, right? So I'm going to delete the merge parts. Okay. And that's going to bring me back a step. Now I can actually edit the design. We just deconstructed the merge part to edit the design. And we have to fix the bite. All right. That was the note. And the other note was fill intaglio gaps and correct the bite. So not only do we have new tissue scans, new bite, right? We just have to add in that new tissue scan. So let me go and save out. I'm going to turn off all this clutter. The less clutter, the better on your screen, especially working with these huge design projects. We're going to right click on the background, hit save scene as, change to STO, and we'll save this upper tissue. Alright, this is the new tissue scan, and then I'm going to load in the lower tissue. Where's that at? Right here. STO, lower tissue. Yes, use original. So now we can add in our new tissue scans and bring them in and replace the surgery scans, because the tissue is healed and resorbed. So we need to get that tissue pressure correct. So we're going to add extra jaw scan, and I'm going to hit upper jaw, and I'm going to load up that upper tissue. Now the upper tissue is launched in there. We're going to close, choose jaw, hit load, lower, and then I have the lower tissue right here. So you can see that's in the same position as our vis meshes, so that's how I know it's a good match, which is aligned to our upper lower bite, right? You can see intertwining of data, meaning it's a good quality match. We'll hit OK. So now I'm going to do scan alignment, and I'm going to hit OK, and then replace. And then scan alignment again. It's going to replace our jaw scans now. Okay, replace. And now our jaw scans have turned into our fresh tissue scans. So I know exactly where I need to add tissue pressure and all that fun stuff. But our wax ups need to come back to the original wax up position. Okay, so I'm going to add in the wax ups. So I'm going to go to Tools, Add and Remove Mesh. And then we'll go to Wax Up, and then hit upper jaw, and I'm going to load up those new wax ups. Now if you didn't export your wax ups already, you can go back and just go back to your scene and resave them out. It's fine. I'm reopening the scene before I remounted it, and I'm going to just save out those wax ups in the original design position where we have nice balanced contact points, nice occlusion, nice dynamics designed, right? We did all that work initially. Just the bite scan was off, so it related everything in the wrong way, or just the bite, right? So I'm going to save out this wax up, right click background, save scene as, STL, upper wax up. Whoa. Yes, yes, use original. And then I'm going to save out the lower wax ups. Yes, use original. So let's load the wax ups in. I only load them in to move all of my raw design objects to the design position. So we'll do that right now. Load upper wax up. And then we'll go to the lower jaw, load that wax up. And perfect. So it got rid of our old wax ups, but look, the upper's aligned, the reduced parts on the gingiva is aligned, everything's aligned to the upper. So I don't really have to worry about that. I'm going to turn this all off. What's not aligned is this reduced gingiva for the lower, the gingiva design parts for the lower, but the wax up is, right? And you can see the clear difference of the bite change here. So I'm going to move all of these objects to this lower wax up, which I know is in the correct design position, right? See, we have a nice correct design position there. We spent the time initially, so we're going to bring it back to that time spent from before. So we're going to go to Align Mesh, and Align Mesh is going to allow me to do something really cool. In Select Additional Floating Parts, I'm only going to click All Visible. So I'm only going to move whatever's visible right now, and I'm going to click on the molar, then I'm going to click on the wax up. I'm going to hide the wax up, then I'm going to click on that molar, and then I have one more to do. Perform Best Fit, and now look, it moved everything with that. So now we were able to align it all as one, what it was like 4 or 5 clicks, just to get all of these objects back to the aligned position. So now we turn on our wax up to verify it all moved to the right way. And Select Additional Floating Parts is such a sneaky, nice tool. Kudos to Doc who showed me that one. Just open my eyes. Sometimes you teach people things, but they end up kind of opening your eyes to something and changing your process a little bit. I used to align mesh all those individually. That additional floating parts is super huge feature. So now everything's aligned. I just need to readapt it all. You could redo your orientation, right? Your scan orientation, make sure that's correct. So let's hit OK on that. And then we have wax up calculation. So if I needed to redo any of my tooth design or anything, change my teeth, I could. That's the benefit of this. I like my full anatomic tooth models. My full anatomic tooth models are important to me because I can use chain mode with them. I can also sculpt the tooth library with freeform itself. I don't have to use a merged wax up with the junctions already created, and having to freeform a wax up is less efficient, and the quality of that wax up is way less, right? You get higher quality designs by simply just having full anatomic teeth. So please do not use wax up scans and just rip wax ups. Your anatomic teeth are easily able to export and bring over to different areas. So please take advantage of exporting your teeth and bringing them into other places with load, because you can load in new teeth by hitting choose library teeth, and you can also hit load from file. That's my little side rant. Now we'll get back into the remount wax up calculation, right? But I don't need to change aesthetics, so that's why I am not doing chain mode or anything. You see the notes here from the clinician. All scans were sent. Please fill in intaglio and correct the bite on the left side. We did all 3 of those just by the remount, and now we will just fill the intaglio gaps. Alright, so I will go to freeform, turn my strength and size up. Let's turn our, not the analogs, the abutments, not the virtual wax up bottom, the abutments. You could update your virtual wax up bottom, but as you can see, it doesn't cut. If it's not cutting on you, then you don't need to, but I do find it as like a precautionary, good practice step, right? For the next person that may work on the case. Always kind of thinking about the next guy that needs to work on this design, because it is a team effort. So we'll add that tissue pressure to the intaglio, and then I will go ahead and smooth it after I have it pretty decent, right? smooth. And then you'll kind of adjust this area here, making sure that's good, because when you add intaglio pressure, you gotta make sure it's nice and smooth and ovate and convex. Alright. I can cut view measure my tissue pressure here. Let's see, we have about 0.9. It can be reduced a little bit, especially by the papilla there. Nice. Alright, and then we'll go to our lower, and I'm going to add all that tissue pressure there. This mesh, go away. And then we'll add and this remount technique works for any dual arch design, dual arch designs. The full denture module, same thing. I do the same workflow even with iVotion. I align mesh that ribbon back to the right spot. You can do this registration mesh, bite alignment technique on any remounting in Exocad. It works every time, and also I use it as a force reset for scan orientation. But this technique's super efficient and super useful and helpful for any remounting in anything. And there we go. We just smooth that out, make sure our tissue pressure is good, and we'll merge and save it and send it off to the client. But we did follow all the notes here. That abutment. The photos look decent as well. He just doesn't look like he cleans his mouth, so looks all dirty. Or maybe he's a smoker. But the plane of occlusion, midline, everything looked nice and straight and everything. So no aesthetic changes. But if you needed to, you could use that chain mode to do that. So now we're done. You can cut your occlusion again if you need to, but I know we cut it before. You could double check that in the show interference, show spacing, right? I can go all the way down to 0.2 and see where we're contacting. Alright, looks good. And then now we'll merge and save. So once we merge and save, that will merge our design, and we did the remount. We updated the tissue pressure, and we updated our jaw scans. And that's how you do the dual arch design remount with your full anatomic tooth models. Super efficient. We were able to do this in 24 minutes, slowly explaining everything, which is great. Sometimes I'm able to do it in like 12 minutes when I'm just going ultra fast mode, you know, just locked in listening to music. But I know this is probably one of the most efficient ways of getting something like this done versus redoing the entire design. Repeatable, predictable results is always my thing, and this is a way of keeping everything repeatable and predictable, and following what only the notes say instead of redoing. And my full anatomic teeth are super important to me. So that wraps it all up for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I have a dual arch design remount. I know this will help a lot of people. I get this question all the time. Please let me know if you need anything. Reach out, text me, call me, DM me, follow me on YouTube. We're gonna build this channel out and get more tutorials out there to you guys on the new 3.3 version. Alright, thank you guys. Have a good one.